Thank you. Thank you for your protection, Your Excellency. Sorry, I'm the younger boy of Kensai, and I'm very, very passionate about where I come from, sir. We have started the process of Ogoni cleanup, and there's a process that resumption of oil will go on in Ogoni land. Sir, if you are seated as the president tomorrow, what will you do differently to uplift the lives of the Ogoni people, sir? Thank you.
Ogoni man, I thought this one would have gone to my sister, who is the expert. But let me tell you, and I've said this and I want everybody to take note of it. Nigeria as a country has been very unfair to the people of Niger Delta. Very, very unfair. I've been to all over so many places in the world that produce soil. If Niger Delta has been able to lead and support Nigeria for years without anything showing for their own assets, it should have been a place of reference. It is them oil that you see in Texas that makes it the third biggest economy in terms of states in America, and the facilities around there are first class. There's no reason why, I said it repeatedly, today we are talking about construction of every road when we have been building East-West Road for almost 20 years. That is nonsense. It's totally unacceptable. And only today is a diminishing asset. And you are talking about clean up of Ogoni land and everything so they can have their land back, have their life back. It is a priority for Nigeria. It is a priority for Nigeria. And I can tell you, where do you start? You can't even drive today from Calabar to Uyo. You can't go from Uyo to Port Harcourt. You can't drive from Benin to Warri. It's not a mess. It is very unfair. So there's a lot, and I assure you, not just for Ogoni, for the entire Niger Delta, we must do something very quickly. We must make sure that the cleanup and everything, they are protected, they are supported, and everything. You say today, they are benefiting more in health, they are benefiting more in education, anything for they've done. Let me assure you, in trying to turn around Nigeria, you must take particular interest in the contribution of every sector. And I believe that every part of Nigeria have a potential to contribute and be protected. I don't want to do so many comments on our pricing. We are members of OPEC. We can associate ourselves in it. We can subject ourselves to that pricing model. What is more important is the one we sold, what did we use the money to do? Because even the money we didn't see for the one that was sold. What did we use to do? We have been investing using the same price, selling and saving it, investing it properly. We'll still make the same impact and remain close. Other countries, whether it's Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, they're members of OPEC. When you go there, you see what they use the proceeds to do.
All right, thank you. Auntie, do you want to add something since you are the... Into 2027, to put in structures that will monitor these elections, not only from the polling units to the collation centers, both the unit collation centers, the ward collation centers, local government, state, and the national. Because our results were truncated in the process of moving the results to the various collation centers. My question is, what will His Excellency do differently to protect these our results Thank you.
You know, I want you to know that we are 4 members in this panel. Somebody asked which party do I belong to? And I answer you where I am today. I still remain very faithful member of Labour Party. But let me tell you, 2027 election, and I say categorically, will not be run on parties, it will be run on persons. We are not going to be blinded in voting anybody because you belong to one popular party or you share money. I've always said people, inform people, 2027 election will be Nigerians versus those in government. They've gotten away with the politicians, they have gotten away with murder. It is time for you, as I said, scrutinize the person. Scrutinize the person. Don't listen to his English. Don't listen to his certificate. Don't listen to a qualification. Educational qualification is not a measure of integrity. People are stealing our money. We don't want to separate those. We want to know those who have created wealth. They can manage wealth. So if they say it's Professor Denta, let's ask his background. He's no longer professor because we've seen professors here steal. We've seen professors do wrong things. So now, remove title, remove everything. Let's know who the person is. It is very important. Model of a country, very good question. If I have opportunity, where is the young man who asked that question? I tell you that a book I recommend for you, Growing Apart. It is a book by famous Professor Lewis comparing Nigeria and Indonesia. I spent 1 week of this year in Indonesia. Indonesia is the country with the highest number of Muslims in one country. Indonesia. And they have a similar population like ours. They are about 280 million and we are about 230 million. So you could see the similarity. This year, I traveled to Indonesia and I traveled with 2 northerners, purposely. After 1 week of staying there, meeting from Minister of Education, Minister of Planning, Minister of Small Businesses, Minister of Health, Vice President, and the most famous president of the country, Joe Widodo, asked them one question. Did you see any Almajiri here? We didn't see one. We didn't see one person begging for money or handout. So what is the difference between us and them? In everything, is a Muslim, 90% Muslim country. If you Google it, to even tell you that they don't bother about religion, the Pope visited there last October, and they granted public holidays throughout his visit. And the president was there to receive him. And he's not a Muslim. The president, when I met him, he said it's one of his happiest moments that the Pope visited them. But what did they do? If you go into that country, you can go and check it. In 1990, they were about low, medium, in what you measure development, HDI, Human Development Index. We were about the same thing. Their per capita, which is what you measure wealth with, was 558, or call it 560, and we were 556. So you could see where we started this journey. Today, They are high in Human Development Index. We are still low. We are the same path. Today, their per capita is 5,000 plus. Ours is $835. So we are not one-fifth of what we are. That's why they wrote that book, Growing Apart. What did they do? They invested in critical areas of development. They invested in education. They invested in health. They invested in pulling people out of poverty. So if you go to the industry, one of the best insurance schemes in the world, where over 95% is covered by insurance. The rich, if you're sick, you are cured. The small, if you're sick, you're cured. Nigeria have less than 5% insurance coverage. If anything happens to you now here, they drop you in the next hospital, the doctor will say, pay the first service. If you don't pay, you just leave you there to die. So that's why I went there to study. You must model yourself after something. We, the politicians, have taken this country for granted, and the earlier you do what I said before, anybody who comes to say, vote for me, scrutinize where he's coming from.
A round of applause, please.
What will you do differently for peace? There's a lot to do differently. If you decide to serve a state and govern with justice, with fairness, with rule of law, doing the right thing, making sure that what I said before, the Niger Delta people, that will look at what is happening to them, like my sister said, if we are talking about clean up, let's be sincere. Do it, the contract to do it should go to the people there. We're talking about Niger Delta, the headquarters should not even be in Abuja. The contract should not be shared among senators. It should be in that zone. Everything they are doing and those doing awarded contracts should come from that zone. So we can hold them responsible. One of the things that I did as governor, when we couldn't find people to teach in rural areas, when we are talking about local contractors, to say, you are from this local government, I'm going to give you this road in your town to construct, so that people in your town will be seeing it. When they ask me, hey, this road was not working, I said, now your brother constructor. We gave him contract and we paid him. When they were looking for teachers, we made sure that we go employ teachers from that community. Because of it, teachers started saying, because before we go and bring teachers from another place, put them in another town, they will say, oh, they don't have teachers. So we said, who wants to teach in this school, in this town? And we employ them. And the federal government made sure that they are there. So if we start doing the right thing, there will be peace. Because we need it. We need everywhere to be peaceful. Like I said today, one of my speech today, I requested the president to stop traveling overseas. He has done over 30 trips overseas, spending over 150 days. I said to him, this is time to tour Nigeria. You have 36 states. Spend two days, only 72 days. Half of what you spend overseas. But we want to see you. We don't want this serving by remote control. We want to see in different states, especially where there's issues. Go there, let them see you, so they know they have a president. So we'll go there and see where the problem is. What will you do differently to defend the election? Let me be honest with you. Is it that I have to ask that? When you vote, don't go. Insist they count it there. Insist they count it there. So that all of you will be there, you have phone, you have everything, and make sure it's counted. If they refuse to count it, count to the person. Simple. This is time to say our vote must count. Take note of it. Use your phone, use everything and see. Count this phone, this ballot. Record it. Nobody says you cannot follow it to local government. You can follow it to anywhere. Anybody who says you can't follow it is not true. Mobilize yourself, those who follow it. It is your vote. You have right to follow it. And there's nobody who can stop you. So what I'll do different, because I will just be in my village. I'm not going to be in Rivers State. I'm not going to be in Borno. I'm not going to be in one place. And that's what is happening. Is a new Nigeria possible? Yes. It is possible if all of us vote in somebody and start on questioning why we voted him in and what he stands to do. I have served here as a governor. And I can tell you, as Anambra State people, my campaign to be governor is based only one thing was in my poster. Is Anambra State cost? Or are we the cost? That if I come in here, education will change, health will change, this will change. And when I came in, I had issues with people. I had issues with even a president down there then. I'll come to Abuja here. He will tell me, nobody in your state is happy with you. I will politely and respectfully remind him, Mr. President, go and check my manifesto. I never promised happiness. What I promised is to fix school. What I promised is to do this. This one was not promised. You heard people, somebody say, yeah, I didn't have office of first lady. Yes. My wife was never voted for. It's not part of it. So it was confusion that we were looking for money to solve what I promised them, which is education. And you created an office that does not have any meaning. I called the office of first lady, even have advisors and everything. To advise her on what? She wasn't elected. It's my wife. We're close. So it should be at home looking after me while I do the work. Because that's my work. I'm the one that is elected. Not elected. Everybody knew. I closed down. We are the only people who didn't have a lodge in Abuja as a governor. I came here. My predecessor bought it for 1 billion. I shut it down. Because Governor of Anambra does not live in Abuja. I said everybody should move to Anambra. We need all the pain is there. So there was no extra and everything. So for me, it is let people go and show you where they passed. Let them show what they did there. I invite anybody. I live in Onitsha, where I was governor. And I move around like any other person in that place. Because when you are governor, people can fear you. When you finish, go and live there. So they will tell you the true position of things. That is where I live. And I stay there steady. So to let people go, let's go and verify from where people pass through and ask questions. That is how we are going to create a new Nigeria. By insisting that somebody said we are going to get electricity. If we don't have electricity, don't vote for me. So if we don't have electricity, why are you still campaigning to be president again? When what you have promised, you have not delivered. So it is better for you to resign and go home because you have failed from your promise.
Your Excellency, thank you so very much. Meanwhile, when he was speaking about, he never, to check his manifesto, he never promised happiness. That year in my state, we had a commissioner for happiness.
I think it's explained, Liliana, we're all going to follow up, even with the amendments, to make sure that some of the lapses that affected 2023 are changed. But again, following what Professor Dente said, even if that amendment does not happen, I assure you that this time we will make sure that all the booths are manned properly. And to ensure that it's manned properly, we're also calling you, the youths and everybody, to know that part of why the booths were not properly manned was because we didn't have candidates all over. We now want to have candidates contesting House of Assembly in Borno, contesting House of Rep, contesting Senate. We want candidates all over the place. It is in doing this that we'll be able to have people who are manning all the booths. So it is not just enough to say, oh well, these are the people. Some of the people who are still there now, who have refused to leave, started contesting when they were your age. And if you don't come in, they won't retire. But if they come in now, by the time you run around all over the place and they can't move around, they say, let's leave these people and go away. So it's time to also get involved.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
On success, somebody asked about the different things that happen in other neighboring African countries. Let me tell you, we have passed through that stage. It was still the same thing. We have had military rule. So we won't say if we have military or we destroy democracy or this thing, that it will be better. What we now need is to have people who have conscience, people who have this country at heart, people who care to be involved in what we are doing. It is critical, it is important. We have a situation now where our leaders, as far as I'm concerned, there's something different in their system. Because when somebody is acquiring what he doesn't need, it's sickness. And most of our leaders are doing that. The question somebody asked about the issue of being active in voting, the political education we need is what I've always emphasized. First, we need to know what is our right in terms of voting. Why should we vote for somebody? That was I said, it is time to verify and investigate. It's no longer when you get up and say, we are going to vote Mr. Peter Obi. Some group of 5 people have come here and say, oh, Peter Obi is good. Let them tell you more about Peter Obi. Take your time to ask more questions about Peter Obi. When you are going to convince other people to vote for him, let it not be because Peter Obi have given you money. Because the 10,000 they gave you today will not last beyond today. And they have 4 years to 5 years to damage everything. And you will be part of that damage. So you must insist now, and even the 10,000 Peter Obi is giving you is actually your money you are stolen somewhere. So it is time for you to, so that political education is very, very important, and we now have to get people to participate more. In that participation, insist on the right thing. We need to discuss now politics. Because part of what we do here is I don't see people discussing politics. I've been to schools all over the world. Right from Oxford to Cambridge, everything. During the elections, you see students discussing politics, not in terms of who will give them money, but in who have an idea that will benefit them, the way they can find jobs, the way they can do this. They look at what people are promising, what they are going to do. Here, you see the students' union and everything getting involved in who gives them money. At the end of the day, we are suffering for it. So that's 2 questions, number 13 and number 12 are similar. I'll go back now to structural adjustment in the 80s and what we will do to stabilize the Naira. Let me tell you about structural adjustments and some of the adjustments Nigeria has taken. Those economic adjustments in itself were not bad. What is bad is the implementation of them. What you see that happens in Nigeria is that, let me use the a human being in Nigeria. There's nothing wrong in borrowing. I'm a businessman. I've borrowed all my life. There's nothing wrong in it. Because people don't print money. All the people you see that made so much money, they did it so by borrowing. But it's what you use that borrowing to do. If I come to you today and say, give me 10 million, and you give me 10 million, and I invest it in a business that has proper feasibility studies, I will pay you back. But if I borrow that 10 million to do marriage ceremony, that's where the trouble is. So when you borrow, same thing for social adjustment, like now, there's nothing wrong in government telling people to tighten their belt. There's nothing wrong in telling them to fast, because we can no longer afford a buffet, the type of thing we eat before. But what is wrong? When the people in power are telling you to fast, they are feasting. You can't ask people to fast when you're feasting. You should lead the fasting. That is the challenge we are faced with. We know there's no money. We know there's no this thing. But every day, look at what I said just like yesterday. I visited a school. Our schools have no computer. We have no lab. Our secondary schools have no lab. The children have no chair. The children have no this. But we are spending billions for furnishing presidential mansions all over the place. We are spending billions for conference center. The conference they have been doing there since, haven't they been paying to do the conference? It is the revenue we got from the previous conferences that would have used to renovate it, not to use another 39 billion that would have bought 1,000 computers and shut the secondary school to go and renovate it for them to start the conference that they even having. We have spoken enough. Let's deal with it. So these are things we are saying. Not that we said about cleaning up. It shouldn't be by means of Niger Delta this in Abuja. It should be there. So it is. You ask how do we, so let me just to assure you that it is not the policy. Two, what do you do to stabilize your currency? It's a very simple thing. Export. Very simple thing. Nigeria today can make more money from agriculture than they make from oil. Oil has actually a diminishing asset. Nobody is planning with oil again. We can make more money from agriculture than we make, and you see me speak about it every day. We have a country with over 60% of arable land uncultivated. I drive around everywhere in the north. This year alone I've been to Kafanchan, to Jos, to Katsina, to Jigawa, to Kanu, everywhere by road. And I see the vast of cultivated land. Niger State, that we just had a problem, have the most fertile arable land anybody can have on the surface of the earth. Niger State alone can feed Nigeria and export goods. Niger State is a population of about 7 million, 76.3 thousand square kilometers of land. They are not contributing anything. I can tell you that a tiny country like Netherlands, with, if you minus water, with water they are 41,000 square kilometers, without water they are 33,000. Google it, they have export in 2022-2023 of 122 billion euros, $136 billion. That's 3 times we earn from oil. And Niger State is 2.5 times the size of Netherlands. And they are not producing anything. Bangladesh, another third world country, developing country, produces 50 to 60 million tons of rice, unpeeled rice. Bangladesh. So who says the developed country? Bangladesh is 148,600 square kilometers of land, occupied by 170 something million people. Bangladesh is the same size as our two biggest states. Niger State at 76.3 and Borno State at 70.8. Put together is 147 and they are 148. And Nigeria as a whole cannot produce 10% of the rice Bangladesh produces. So you could see it, I can take go on and on. Taraba State is 54.4 thousand square kilometers. They don't produce anything. And they have Mambila, a place you can cultivate tea, coffee, flour. Kenya is making over $500 million from flour. If you go to Kenya during Valentine and see the amount of flour they're exporting outside Kenya, you won't believe it. Ethiopia is making over $500 million from coffee. Sierra Leone is making over 1.something billion from tea. All of them can grow in Taraba. So we have everything. Yam today is hot cake abroad. Benue State can give us all the yam. So we have what it takes. What we don't have, we have competent leadership that have capacity to change this country. You can change it. We don't need to be talking about this thing. Oil is the administrative asset that can add. If we are doing no proper exports, we will get foreign exchange and the value of our currency will come down and stabilize. But when you have people ruling by remote control, they don't know what is happening. And when we have people who don't have the capacity, this thing has to do with time, knowledge, and age. So it's time we decide that we can no longer continue like this. And I discussed the economy. Someone said about that we depend on export. We don't depend on export. We are talking about oil export. I've now shown you how we can do it better. There's so many things we can export here. If you go to Kaduna, we have textiles all over the place. Bangladesh makes more money from clothing than we make from oil. Vietnam makes as much as we make from shoe in our oil. So there's no productivity here. When I talk about productivity, people who don't understand this. What we do here is that people think there's a magic. I'm happy that the Reverend Father is here. He will tell you there's no magic in the church. They don't run it. They don't run it to heaven is full of grace. There's no magic. So if you go to church, don't go there and think you get money. It's only in Nigeria that people want magic money. They say that the magic are laugh. Anybody who tells you that is stealing. Money comes from productivity. The purpose of money is the exchange of value. Which value did you exchange? Money was created for exchange of value. We pray to God to protect us, and God has done a wonderful work in Nigeria. The rest of the work is that God wants us to be productive. They even say He helps those who help themselves. He didn't say He gives those who sleep money. So if you're sleeping and you want money, you should be arrested. There's nothing wrong with students' loan. And I urge all of you, if you want to go to school, there is nothing wrong with students' loan. I will not make it a grant. I will keep the loan. The only difference is that we need to create a job. So when you come out of the school, you have a job in order to be able to pay it. That is what it is. Because if I give you a loan, and that is what we are going to institute, if we are going to give you a loan, we must make sure that when you leave, you are going to have a job to pay it. I met a lot of people in the schools I've been. I said it before, from Oxford to Cambridge to all the big schools I've been. I met students who came to school with students' loan. The difference is that as they are leaving university, they have a job, very good job, and they were able to pay the loan. And that way, you can be able to give it to other people who need it. When you make it a grant, people will not work hard to pass. Most people that are giving student loan have conditions. You must pass. You must do well for that loan to continue. So it's actually something you can use to ensure that those who can't afford it. When I was coming in here, I met a young man who told me just now, I don't know where he is. He said, I'm a beneficiary of your program. I'm one of those you gave 1 million naira for having first class. As governor, I insist. If you have first class, I give you 1 million. And I see them all over the world now. This one will say, oh, it was 1 million you gave me that made me to do masters and PhD. It was this that. So when it was happening in my town, in the state, I've come across people who said to me, I give you an example. There's a family. There were four kids of one parent. They all made first class. And people said to me, these people, I said, well, if you want the simple, we said first class, we'll give you. We're not talking about somebody who has 2-1. I didn't have first class. But I said those who have first class, I'll give them 1 million. So there's nothing wrong in loan. You use it, but you must get a job to be able to pay back.
Yes. Thank you so much, His Excellency. Next person, please.
Thanks so much, Your Excellency, sir. I thank God the youth are now realizing the power in people is mightier than the people in power. I'm so glad for that. My name is Comrade Obidients on Taiwo. My question is very simple, sir. It's not on governance, because I have confidence on that area on you, but on how to get to that governance. We are following the coalition development, and this is what many have hope on for 2027. But now, sir, if this coalition fails, which is likely, we don't pray for it, and if it succeeds, as we hope for, but Nigerians are disadvantaged by showcasing His Excellency Peter Obi as the flag bearer that we want to, because we've demonstrated our strength in 2023 without structure, without anything. Now, if we are disadvantaged this time around, Mr. Peter Obi just support the person or taking the path took in 2023, where we even said, even though if we join Street of Bureau Party, we will follow. And we did that with a four-person treaty to get 6.1 million votes. So in conclusion, sir, if he fails to produce Mr. Peter Obi, that is disadvantaged and youth, will Mr. Peter Obi just let it be and support whosoever? Maybe na they give us, we don't know. Or we go and show the part of 2023 where he gives the youth hope to go for election. Because record have it that 2023 was the first time Nigeria have youth that participated in the election.
Thank you.
Sir, please, before you respond, everybody say God forbid. Everybody's Holy Ghost fire. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you. Let me assure you. Let me assure you, we will work hard. We will work hard to make the coalition work. What I have told people is that I'm in a coalition for a better Nigeria. I'm in a coalition for new Nigeria. I'm in a coalition that will fight insecurity. I'm in a coalition that will fight hunger in Nigeria. I'm in a coalition that will fight stress. As you know now, WHO has said that over 20 million Nigerians have mental illness due to stress because of what is happening all over the place. So we imagine a country where 20 million people are mad, moving around because of stress. They don't know where the next meal will come from. So it's very, very important that we work hard to make sure we are now among the 3 most stressed countries to live in. We are now one of the hungriest countries for people to live in. We will work hard to fight this. That's the coalition we are in. And I assure you, I will continue to fight. Like I always say, I'm not desperate to be Nigerian president. I'm desperate to see Nigeria work. And all of us will be in the trenches fighting until we make Nigeria work.
People, in 2023 we voted, and then by what we voted, we are not supposed to lose total hope, even if you are not there, because we knew that we pushed some people there, and then those people should be able to say something, but we are not hearing anything. Now, even as you are going to 2027, how do you, because you know that political parties differentiated from other organizations, from other societies by their organization. How do you manage organization inside party, and then you say that people it will be based on persons. So political party cohesion. How do you manage the cohesion now? And
okay, very simple. When I said it will be based on persons, is that there will be different parties. In 2023, we went into Labour to contest the election. Assuming that 2027, we cannot contest through Labour because government have, like they are doing now, trying to make sure that there is no peace in Labour. We're not going to stay there and allow them to stop us. So we move on. And if we move on, people should be able to understand the journey. We believe, like Prof said, the parties should be able. I lived in the UK for several years. In my constituency, I was surprised. That's when I learned it for the first time. And they went to brought somebody who was not living in that constituency to come and contest the election there because the party wanted to win that place and be able to maintain there. If you go and read about Margaret Thatcher, you find out that there's a time he didn't contest in his own constituency. Just like you see in America, the Clintons were governor in Arkansas, but the wife contested Senate from New York. So we are not going to get to a stage where we must not stay in one place if we are good. And I know what you're asking about questions of people you voted who are not talking. That is one of the things we want to change. Now you see somebody voted as Labour, tomorrow you say, I'm joining this group. We must change. By the time we change the electoral law, the constitution, where we have proportional representative, so during the election, if you win the election through Labour, you must stay in Labour 4 years. And you must do and follow the rules in Labour. So it's not something I will go there and say, you have not changed. You are going to, all this political prostitution must stop.
From Adamu Yusuf Bari, and he is in Federal University of Kashere, Gombe State, and he's saying, you have repeatedly, Your Excellency, said you are still in Labour Party. Considering the fact that Labour Party is no longer welcoming people like us, and judging from what happened in the 2023 election, where even we who dared to defend your votes, we are fought off by even agents of the Labour Party. We have lost interest in Labour Party. My question, therefore, is, would you, sir, support any candidate that is aspiring, who is an obedient from another political party? That's this question. I'll take one more, sir, just so you can. All right, the second person is Yahaya Moshood Olamilekon. He's from Usman Danfodio University, Sokoto, and his own is on security. He says, what strategies will you implement to address the root causes of insecurity in Nigeria, especially where it comes from, in northern Nigeria?
Well, let me tell you, let me start with him. The problem of insecurity in northern Nigeria have so many dimensions. Number one dimension is poverty. The more you put people out of poverty, the more you reduce criminality. And I can tell you, because I know, I used to be involved in business, in finance, and I know what happens today. In my days in finance, if you're looking for cash, you go to Kano. Because we have industries. In Bompai, Shodan 1, Shodan 2, you go to Maiduguri. The dry fish business is starting in Maiduguri. You can go to everywhere. Today, the biggest place we have problem in Maiduguri is Sambisa Forest area. That's a farmland. Sambisa Forest area is about 60,000 square kilometers. That's 3 times the size of Israel. Israel is 22,000 square kilometers times 3 is 66. So if you go there, you turn it into a farmland and get people to be productive. 2, I do not believe that non-state actors can be stronger than the state. There's something missing. We have this population of people. If it's war, we declare war. And we know we are at war. We will fight insecurity to a standstill. That I can tell you. We are not saying we are going to. There's insecurity all over the world. But the level of which it is today, I said to you, it is not acceptable. And I will not accept it. For whatever it is, are you saying it is better to construct coastal road and fight insecurity in Nigeria? If you have a road and the road is insecure, will you pass through there? But if you don't have a road, the road is not very good and the insecurity, you can manage. So we deal with priorities. We prioritize what is necessary. And the other person asked about sponsoring Obidients in different parties. We will be in one party. And I assure you, we will move like a team. If they don't want us somewhere, we will go where they want us.
All right. Good afternoon. All protocols observed. Good afternoon, Mr. Harrison. My question is on what will you have us do, sir? If what happened in 2023 peradventure happen again, when the ruling party now will want to repeat what their master told them, snatch the ballot box and run with it. If they do it in 2027, sir, what will you have us, the many of us that are your children, your followers are not as gentle as you are, but we followed your way in 2023. In 2027, what will you have us do? Because we may not be able to be gentle as you are again, sir. Thank you.
No problem.
For those of you that follow me on social media, I think
this time around, we will not allow them to snatch it and run with it.
Yes. Okay, please. Yes.
We will make sure they will snatch it and run. And he asked about IT skill. Let me tell you, when you talk about skill, the nation needs it. The nation needs you. Education is not an expense. It's an investment. The more a nation is, the more developed it is. So we will invest in you. Today, India is virtually the world leader in technology. I can tell that most schools that were in India, were the biggest #1 school in India is Bombay Institute of Technology. It was actually set up about the same time by the British as Yaba College of Technology that folded. IMT in Enugu was about set up as technology. So there's so many things we missed because we traveled the wrong road. Investing in you is a win-win for the country. The world in 2030 will be shortage of over 30 million IT workers. The same thing for nurses and this. That's why you can see me going to nursing schools, going to this. Imagine, today Nigeria gets, we even man earning at par for remittances what we earn from oil. But look at it, Philippines, half of our population earns about 3-4 times what we earn from remittances. Egypt, half of our population earns towards what we earn. I keep telling people, I have 18.3 million out of school children. Imagine if you educate them and export them to the world. Our remittances will be 3 times. We won't be talking about exchange rate. Exchange rate is not only by selling goods. You can also export people who will work and bring back money. That's what everybody is doing, and it's critical. So we will invest in IT skill learning, and we will make sure people go through that for free. It's an investment.
Thank you so much. Quickly, next one.
Your Excellency, my name is Mr. Ako Christian Oche, otherwise known as Due Process. I'm the youth leader of COPDEM, and I'm happy to have you here. This is the first time I'll be standing and speaking before you. Very quick one, sir. What is happening in the Labour Party is troubling to every well-meaning Nigerians, particularly the INEC said they are taking their time to study the outcome of the Supreme Court judgments. And I don't know for how long this will take.
My dear, don't waste your time. What is happening in Labour is what is happening in PDP, is what is happening everywhere. It is, let me tell you, you must know we have a bad politics where those who are in it give up the confusion. What we need to do to dismantle this crime scene called Nigeria today is to follow them bumper by bumper. If they don't want Labour, they don't want PDP, they must want us somewhere.
Yes.
Because once you get it right, people will tell you, oh, that our problem is not leadership. Our problem is leadership. I've just given you an example of what happened in Indonesia. I'm happy that 2 people I went to here. They saw the president where he lives as local government chairman. His chairman as he lives as governor. That's where he lives as president. It's a bungalow. They saw the amount of money declared when he went into office. They saw what he declared after being president for 10 years. And when I said to him, I thought you would have declared it. He said, where am I going to get the money? Here, he would have taken one village and reduced it only for himself and his children and this. So they tell you, oh, nobody can fight corruption. It's not true. If you're not stealing, your wife is not stealing, your children are not stealing, you're easy by 50%. So we will follow them.
Okay, thank you, Your Excellency, sir. I appreciate. On a final note, should the youths who you can recommend or find worthy of your campaign aspire under any political party that give them the...
No, we will go there together. Okay. I've told you, but remember what my sister said. The greatest tragedy of this country is the youth. Because they allow themselves to be used by those who are abusing the society. Most of us now who are abusing this are in our 60s and 70s, mostly in the 80s. We are not going to be there in the next few years. All this money that is being borrowed by now and invested wrongly will be paid by you.
Sir, we are so sorry. The team is complaining bitterly that you've been answering for the past 2 hours, but this is the last 2 questions.
That's good. Let's just do it, and I will stop.
The last 2 questions. I know you're going to agree. Please come forward quickly.
My name is Samuel Siriokolebe, one of the aspirants of Edo Central Senatorial District. My question is simple. We've all noticed the last election, the biggest of our problem. Now, what are you going to do about our beavers and the transmission of results?
Next question.
I keep saying, don't look at beavers, don't look at this thing. If all of you insist that that result will be counted there, or you count the person, they will count it.
Yes. Yes, very correct.
Okay. Permit me to start.
Okay, last question. This is the last and final question for this panel.
Okay.
And then we'll have every other guest say something before we round up.
Okay, standing on existing protocol, my name is Rita Abi. I'm a student of University of Abuja. In the struggle of class and power, where you go out with good certificate, job hunting, and the ultimatum is now based on a 26-year-old with 10 years experience, not over good qualification. Now, what is your advice to students who are schooling and are being forced to believe that school is now scam, and they are being like discouraged that your schooling has no essence after?
My sister, school is not scam. Education is a critical thing. What we need to do is that if we stop corruption, we will unleash entrepreneurship among you, the youth. We need an entrepreneurial society where people can go to the bank and borrow money. I got my loan in the UK by going to the bank and showing my certificate. I started something. The youth here can start. The greatest in any country, the greatest employer of labor is small enterprises started by youth. That's what we want to unleash. That's why we want to kill corruption. If you kill corruption, you unleash entrepreneurship, you unleash professionalism and everything. As we have come to the end, we thank everybody, especially the panelists, because we can't stop without thanking these wonderful people here. What my sister said today is very unique. The youth, it is time for you to reverse your course and make sure whoever you are voting, please, whatever is telling you, go and scrutinize and verify the background of the person. Let us for once save our country. The society they are abusing will take its revenge on you. Do not allow them to continue that abuse.